All right, I've reached that point on this project where I'm sorry I started it. Yesterday, I added this terminal strip over here with the wires connected. These are all the filament wires are now in series, and I can bring off any voltage I want to the back connector. The project requires 24 volts. One side of the string of wires that are connected in series goes to ground, and I'll bring out 6.3, 12.6, and then 24. All right, so this power supply will be able to do all the projects, and the same with the voltages. It'll have 400 and something volts, and then also 200 something. So it'll be capable of running both the transmitter and or a command radio. Now there's also a fuse post up in here. Basically, normally I don't build with a fuse, okay? But in this case I did. But I'm right at the point of this project where it's getting a little frustrating. These wires are really hard, okay? And they're stiff. And I had to leave a loop in them, and then they'll be tucked down in there. And hopefully I didn't screw up. But this set of loops goes down in there, and then this follows behind it. I think these loops go up under here. I take that back. But it was very frustrating working with this wire. I had to, it's very hard tinning it too. It's old. I tin it, and then when I put it on the connector to solder it, or the terminal strip, I had to use tape to hold it in position because it wanted to spring out of the way. It was really annoying. Okay, but I'm right at that point with the project where it's only 2 days to finish it, and it's not a wall. It's just like I've been on it so long. The project, it starts out, you start thinking about it, then you start ordering the parts, then you start laying it out. There's a lot to it. See, I'm not copying something that's already been built, except for the diagram, okay? So when I ordered the wrong size chassis, that made laying it out and wiring it up more difficult. All right, so this thing is an uphill climb, and eventually you do get to the top. All right, but the other thing I want to tell you about is the funniness of being a baby boomer. And they catered to us. When we were little kids, they catered to us. All TV shows on television, they put on extra ones in the morning, at lunchtime. All right, at lunchtime they would shut off the soap operas for the women. They'd have kids programs for when we would come home for school for lunch in the New York area. So you come home and you watch your Merry Mailman or whatever, and then just before you go back from lunch, that would shut off, and some adult game show or something would come on, and you knew it was time to go walking back to school. And at night, a certain time, prime time at night for us, the kids, we had cartoons again. Captain Jack. Let me think. Was Sandy Becker might have been on at night. I know Chuck McCann was. And you'd watch that. Oh, and there was Terry Toon Circus too with Claude Kirshner. Anyway, they constantly catered to us. So about a month ago, I noticed they're putting this. They kept advertising this cartoon show in the morning. And when I was younger, or even older, I would put cartoons on in the background when I was doing something. And now I can't stand to watch them because they bring back old memories. So this morning I put Tuning In. It's on Me TV. I put it on, and the guy's holding up a sign, 1959. And he's got footage. There's a woman host with him, and they got the hula hoop, and I'm like, oh man. And then what's really good about the show is they tell you what year the cartoon was made, who drew it. It's like, it's well done, but it's depressing as hell. I put it on, and I'm like, they're showing a sign that says 1959, and then they show the hula hoop, and then all those hula hoop memories come flooding back. A lot of kids got the real hula hoop, and then in my case, I got the fake hula hoop, and it was like rubber tubing with a staple holding the two sides together, or the two ends together, I should say. And it wouldn't do any of the tricks. You could snap, spin a hula hoop, and it'll go forward on the ground, and then slowly, as it's spinning, it'll come back to you. Well, that one wouldn't do that, and you can only do hula hoop with it, the dance. And I started thinking about that. I didn't get the real hula hoop. I got the knockoff, the illegal one. But they hold up 1959. I remember 1959 because it was one of those formative years. And you remember all the TV shows, and then in this case, then they throw on a cartoon. They tell you there was only 2 of this one version of cartoon made. And then I turned it off. And then later on I turned it back on, and they had another well-drawn, real old cartoon that I sort of remember as a kid. But I wouldn't play it that often because there are a lot of cartoons that were made. And they were made in the movies, before the main feature, they'd run a cartoon. And then when television came along, they were able to reuse all that stuff. A lot of this stuff as a kid that I watched on television, like Hopalong Cassidy, all that stuff was originally made for the theater, like a B movie or a C movie, whatever you want to call them. And as kids, we thought that they were making all these programs for us. And they were making, like Superman, they made for us. And there were a few shows. But most of the stuff was just repeats from nighttime, like My Little Margie, Oh Susanna, which was St. Gale Storm again, and then My Private Secretary, and then Topper. Oh, Topper was a big thing in the morning. Topper was almost always on. And then on the other channel, the Little Rascals were always on. And as a kid, you thought they were new, they were making them. And then your parents would tell you, no, that's they would tell you the real old stuff, and they're all dead. My mother was famous for that. She'd walk in the room, and something would be on, and she goes, he just died. And you're picturing him dying at that age, but really he's a lot older because you're watching stuff that they put on just to entertain you. But this project here is not going forward. I'm not going forward building this, okay? That's what I'm noticing. I'm trying to, when I do my next projects, or any of my projects, I'm trying to say, am I moving forward with this? See, this is a power supply for a transmitter, for a thing I may get on the air, I may get my license, okay? But it's a keep busy project. Now it's starting to bother me that I'm doing keep busy projects. And what caused it was I was watching Shango, 66, and the last 2 television he worked on weren't bad. And his videos seem to be rushed, or he's getting tired of doing it. And I get inspiration by watching other people's video. Now, the other day I bumped into something totally amazing for YouTube. A guy actually makes an integrated circuit in his basement, step by step, with all the chemicals. And I'm sitting there going, this is really good. He shows you how to expose it. But the equipment he had was probably $100,000 worth of equipment, okay? But I was still amazed that something like that, at that level, got on YouTube. And a lot of the stuff, I always make fun of it. They're taking something out of a box. They pick something up real cheap at the flea market. They try to fix it, and they don't. Lately, I find a lot of videos of people that, these are the ones that are recommended to me. I click on them. Guy changes all the capacitors, and the things still don't work. And he has no clue what he's doing. And I find that really annoying. And that's people that get into a hobby without doing any reading. They just read, they pick and choose what they read. And then when a problem comes, that thing's going on a shelf, and they're going to tell everybody they're going to get to it, but they never are. Now, I stay on projects until they become painful. And if this transformer had come with wires that weren't so stiff, yesterday it wouldn't have been so bad. Okay? But as I'm rounding these wires, I have to be real careful I don't crack them. Now, these 2 big ones had cracks and are broken. Anyway, I put some shrink tubing on it. But it's really annoying, when you're working with stuff that's old, it's been sitting around, and it's in really bad shape, and you paid a lot more money than it's worth, and shipping on top of it. And then you have to suffer. And I had to pick where I put this terminal strip in order to keep enough of a loop in the wire that I could put it in there without it breaking on me. All right? That's this project, I only have a few hours left on it, but there's absolutely no fun in this project at this point. And that's when you work on this stuff, you'll find out that thinking about building something and starting it is the best part. And then when you finish it and you see it work, that's good too. In between, there's varying levels of frustration, aggravation. Okay, it's just like being a boat owner. The guy buys a boat, he's all excited about it. They bring it home. He may take it out on the water once or twice, and then it sits in the backyard. And the next time he's happy about the boat is when he finds someone to come and take it away. And I can't tell you how many people I watch buy a boat and swear up and down, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do. And in some cases, the boat actually got cut up with there's a special chainsaw that cuts boats up, and they take it away, and you pay to take the boat away. But, you know, this is going to be a nice size for me to put this away in the other room. Okay, when I finally finish it, and it works, get the transmitter to key up, get it to light up a light bulb or across a dummy load, and then we'll see where it goes with it. But it is a nice size. Having bought the smaller chassis by mistake, it made it a nicer size. And then I made sure there's no line cord on it. That's one of the problems with the old radios that have a wired line cord. When you go to put it away, you got to be very careful with the line cord, that you don't set something on top of it, or you wrap it up, and then when you wrap it up, will it age? Then next time you unwrap it, it will be all dried out. There's a lot involved in old stuff. That's why people throw things away, because they age and they get old and they get tired of it and they just throw it out. And then some point comes along where you become nostalgic and you want the thing in front of you again. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. After this project, I'm going to try to move forward. I want to go on to something new. And that's the problem. There's certain things I like to do. And then like my tropical fish, I've done that so many times. The only new thing I told you is that helicopter I bought. Learning to fly that, being this old, eye-hand coordination. Got to do exactly what I wanted to do with it. And it would have been fun to have someone else fly with me, another one, you know, but you don't have that. As you get older, you have less friends. And less friends that, if you do have a few friends, their interests are going to be different than yours. And if you're really lucky, you'll get friends that introduce you to new things and you're willing to try them. And that's it. But I just want to tell you that I'm at this point on this project, you know, I might just sit today and take it easy. You know, I still got to go to stores from food and stuff. But yeah, I might just take it easy today, not fart around with this thing. But yeah, yesterday working with these stiff wires. But what I do is I have all the there's 4 output voltages for filaments on this transformer, and one's for the rectifier tube, which is 5 volts, to light that up, and then because it doesn't have a cathode filament, it has a directly heated filament cathode combination, and then it has another filament winding for the damper tube. You don't want certain tubes that might short out with high voltage to be on the same string as tubes in the set, because if one of them, if temporarily the damper shorts out or the rectifier shorts out, it'll take out the filaments in the rest of the TV set. I originally told you to look it up, but maybe you don't find that information out there. It's really weird, you know. Some of there's gaps in tube information out there. Even for me, knowing certain things, when I go look it up to make sure I'm right, it takes a really long time to find it. I think that's it. All right, that's it.